I had said in an earlier video that I was going to make a video on trust issues, and the feedback seemed quite positive, that a great many of you wanted to have that discussion as well. Well, I pondered it, and racked my head about it. And as it turns out, the only way I'm going to be able to do that is to make a series of trust issues. This is such a huge issue for me, and I'm sure it's a huge issue for you as well, if you in fact are a victim and a survivor of narcissistic abuse. An abuse that those who have not experienced it cannot fathom. Let me start first in this first of series with a quote by Rose Kennedy. She writes, "It has been said, time heals all wounds. I do not agree. The wounds remain. In time, the mind, protecting its sanity, covers them with scar tissue and the pain lessens, but they are never gone." And I believe that to be really quite true. Over time, the pain in fact does dull, but our mind still goes back to remember some horrific memories, some horrific times and instances of abuse. I think it's impossible to forget those times. I do in fact think that we can heal, that we can feel better, that we can grow more positive, and that scar tissue can thicken. But I do not believe that those memories and those thoughts will ever dissipate. So in this series, I'm going to be quite vulnerable. And the reason I say vulnerable is because it's difficult to talk about. It's embarrassing. It makes me feel weak, like so many of us do, because we were battered down and we were taught to be weak and that we were worthless. But I'm prepared to be vulnerable in order to try to help myself, help you, the community, and we can help each other. Being attracted to negative thoughts or negative issues is an issue with me. And what's really interesting is that for 25 years of that no contact period, I didn't focus or concentrate mainly on the negative issues. I think there's a couple reasons for that. The first reason is social media was not so prevalent. But the other reason is because I didn't want to deal with it, which of course was a mistake. But I didn't know. Who knows what they're doing when they're in their 20s and 30s, right? I wanted to be strong. I wanted to forget that. And I, in fact, was harming myself by not dealing with those issues. And then I go back into contact falsely, as most of you know. And everyone knows what a mistake that was. It picked up worse than it left off. And what I deal with now is, while focusing on issues of negativity, I find myself on social media predominantly watching issues of sexual abuse of children and seeing if they're getting any justice and shaking my head while I'm working on my own issues of that same subject. I watch, even though I do not participate on this forum, political issues. I watch political issues outside of this community in my personal life, and I just shake my head in complete disbelief of the madness that has taken over our political system. I watch crime issues where parents are found to have horribly abused their children in one form or another, where spouses shoot, murder, dismember their wife or husband. And I fixate on that. Now, I know that's part of life. As horrible as it may seem, I know that's part of life and it always has been. But yet, I focus on that more than I focus on the positive things that life has to offer. And life has to offer a great many good things. There are a great many good people out there doing wonderful things for other humans. But I'll still go back and I'll look at the issues of child abuse. I'll look at the issues of spousal abuse, of sibling abuse, and yes, of course, narcissism. And while I'll learn a lot from that, it takes away from focusing on the good, positive issues that are out there. So why do I do that? Well, here's a couple reasons that I think. Almost every day of my life as a child, as soon as I said something positive, as soon as I announced that I felt I did something good, as soon as I was happy about something, it was shot down. A negative annotation was attached to it immediately, almost like a reflex by my narcissist. So somewhere in my DNA, anytime there's a good feeling or a good thought or a desire to visit something positive, there's an attachment of a negative issue to it. It's a reflex. I don't like it. I'm not comfortable with it. Yes, I've been in therapy for years. But it's something I still cannot shake. And I've been in no contact now for over 2 years. But I do have faith that it's going to get better because I've seen it get better. I've lived it when it has gotten better. When I first went on no contact so many years ago. But I have that tendency to focus, to watch on issues that are sad or negative, that I identify with. So I'm going to make a conscious effort to really try to be aware of this. To really try to focus more on the positive, happier things. Back in my childhood, I was physically abused. And any time, or most times, that I was having a good time, it was never acknowledged. Okay, that sucks. But within moments, the mood would turn and there would be an excuse made in order to hit me, pound me, and beat me. The person or persons I felt that I should have been able to trust turned its back on me when I needed it most. And that's going to be a central theme of the trust issues, this series that I'm going to talk about. Now, even as an adult, when I reconnected with the narcissist, anytime I would have anything positive to say, I would be flooded back with the negative. And it happened so quickly. The narcissist never even took time to think about it. It was an automatic reflex. So is it any wonder that I have an automatic reflex that when I feel something good, I automatically have a negative annotation attached to it? I'm going to break free of that. The best way I know how to break free is by having this discussion with you. And hopefully, the feedback is similar. And we can learn from each other. Even when I had nothing to say, I would listen, be it in person with my ears or the telephone to my ear, of negativity about siblings, about their neighbor, anything. It was always something negative being put into me, even as an adult after I went contact again. It brought me right back to all those years ago. I'm going to break this. And the best way, again, and I know how, is to have an open discussion, make myself vulnerable, and hope that others can identify with it. So I don't know how many parts that this series will have, but I expect it's going to be quite a few, because over the last week I've identified so many different instances of trust issues, and I've identified why they've happened. Now, it may seem like I'm blaming, I'm not taking responsibility for my own. I am. As I said, I recognize this in myself. I've been in therapy for years. But it's so embedded in my DNA because it was pounded so hard into my DNA that it's difficult to shake. And I want to stop it. And hopefully, I'm going to be able to begin now. Do you have attraction to negative issues that have affected you in your life? If so, why do you think that is? Help a brother out. Help each other out. With that, I'm wishing you peace in the knowledge that we can shake these trust issues. At the very least, we can identify them. We can stand up and say, yes, I have trust issues. This is why I have trust issues, and I want it to stop. And then maybe when we bring those issues to light, maybe when we make ourselves vulnerable, maybe when we say, I'm not perfect, I have this problem, and this is where I think it's coming from. Maybe when we read each other's comments and not feel so alone and so ashamed in this issue, we can start feeling better and we can start focusing on the more positive issues in our life. We deserve that. We certainly deserve that. I look forward to it. I hope you do also. Thank you.